Stephen Helhammer here. Just wanted to give you a quick little rundown about what Perth United is all about. Long story short, we are trying to create 10 very, very unique songs over the next 10 months. So yes, you guessed right, it's one song per month over the next 10 months. How will this work though? So we are looking for 10 drummers, 10 bass players, about 13 to 15 guitarists, and about 5 to 7 keyboard players, about 15 to 20 singers. So basically we have a whole pool of local musicians that we can mishmash together and create 10 unique temporary bands. In those 12 hours, the plan is to write a song, to record, and to release it before 8 p.m. Does that sound daunting or exciting? Yeah, it does. Is it possible? Absolutely. Will it be fun? 100%. Alrighty. I think we should be good to go right now. If anyone is watching, give us a little holler.
What's going on, everybody?
We got the chat happening here as well. So if you have any questions, please drop them in the chat, and we would love to get onto them. But despite a little bit of sort of technical issues we had here, sort of prior to going launch, to going live, it sounds like we are actually finally on here, man.
Looks like we did, mate.
Yeah, man. Thanks so much for coming in.
Oh, you're welcome, mate. It's awesome. We're loving it.
Yeah, no, it's good to see you. We pretty much went through the whole show before we even started recording here, man. But
we've been here what, half an hour, and we checked the connection 5 minutes before we went live. We did well.
Yeah, and we had a look at the premises. You know, I had a look at the live room. We were talking about our good mates Kimura.
Yeah,
and how they're not keen on playing some of the stuff for you just yet.
Yeah. No sneak peeks from them. No.
Yeah.
Keeping tight-lipped.
That's it,
but
man.
the single's awesome.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Yes, it is. Loving it.
Sounds wicked.
And the video as well. They just out slickers.
Yeah. Very awesome. Very cool.
Every time.
But your new single sounds pretty awesome too. I had the great pleasure of listening to that on the way here, cranked it up in the car, and it's most certainly passed the car test.
Appreciate that. Yeah.
Yeah.
We worked quite hard on it. It took a while. We had it recorded and we're kind of mixing them all at the same time. We've got I think we're aiming for 7 songs on the EP, and
wow, that's a big EP.
Yeah.
Wicked. Yeah.
So we had the first single from that EP, Gatai. We released that in April, and then this one was the next one that was up for completion. So we wanted to get this one out as quickly as possible and follow that first single up with the second one as soon as possible.
Yeah, cool, man.
Yeah.
And from what I can understand, you were looking at doing the last bits and pieces on the mastering just a couple of days ago.
Yes, right up until the last minute.
But that's good, though. Like, because when you have a deadline, you know, you're gonna get stuff done.
Yeah. Very true. It was like that. Sometimes we need that motivation to get everything done, and
sometimes, yes. How long have we been talking about doing an EP? It's been, well, we've been playing live since 2017, and I think on our first gig we said that we were busy recording an EP.
Oh,
and we've just started getting stuff out. So 2 songs in 1 year is pretty big for us.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, if it's been 4 years underway, then yeah, having 2 out so far is phenomenal, man. Yeah, wicked.
There's a demo on Spotify as well.
Yep.
The lyrics are wrong and stuff, but that counts.
Yeah, this will be the fourth track we have up on Spotify.
Yeah.
The first demo that we released, Anticlimax. Then we have Run, our first official single. That was 2019, I think we released that.
Yeah.
And then, Gatai.
Yeah.
It's getting there. We're getting stuff out slowly. But
yeah, good, man. Good.
Yeah. And then that's it. So we, it's been interesting because I've watched a lot of your episodes and stuff, and I know a lot of bands have talked about trying to figure out this whole single or EP or album thing, and we've talked about it for a while, and so we've decided to kind of do it this way. We get a handful of singles, and then there'll be an EP at the end of it, and there'll be some tracks on that EP that people haven't heard, So stuff that we do play live, but there hasn't been a release of, and then maybe one, maybe two that we haven't played live yet that are ready, they're good to go, but we're just going to hold them back and release as a package, and maybe even do a bit of remixing and that kind of thing for the EP.
Well, it's one of those beautiful things. If you're an independent band, you can do whatever you want.
Yeah.
Like again, it's just whatever suits you. Like, If the best way is to put out a single every now and then, that's great. If it's an EP, that's great too. An album, it's also great.
Yeah.
It's sometimes just it comes down to against budget. How many songs have you got? Have you got something else you want to back it up with? Like you want to do some videos and whatnot. But it sounds like, and especially like if you guys have been together for 4 years, I would assume you probably have a decent amount of songs that you could put out there. Yeah. So what have you just sort of boiled it down to the 7 that sort of resonated best with what you wanted to have people sort of perceive Dying Degree stand for? Or?
Kind of.
Yep.
Yeah. I think we've got some staples that we've always played, and I think we reached the point where we were trying to get those ones out for so long. We wanted to start fresh, and we kind of drew from some of our newer stuff. So we got some classics that we have been working on, but we've kind of drawn a bit more on our more recent jams as well to kind of bring those ones out. So make sure that our listeners who've seen us live so many times that they have something new to experience once we finally release some music. So yeah, we're drawing on a bit more of our more recent material.
Yep.
That's fun.
And we've changed a lot as well. We started off, we were pretty punk when we started, and now we're not really. We started in drop D, now we play drop C, and there's a lot that used to be clean and now it's screamy, and just from playing live, and just testing things out, and just that evolution, and we resonated with different bands as well. We made friends with different bands, and we started gelling with metal bands and making friends with metal bands and playing more and more metal shows, and
right.
All right, cool. Well, maybe we're almost a metal band now, not quite, but
almost. Yeah.
Well, again, it's also like I know at least for myself, like as I get older and you explore other bands and stuff, like you get influence, and you get and there's other genres that that pops up and stuff. Like I only started listening to metalcore in the recent couple of years, for instance.
Yeah.
And now every time a new metalcore band come up, you go like whoa, this is sick. You know what I mean? Like obviously like Infinite Exile was one of the most recent bands that I came across when I saw them play live at Badlands a couple of weeks ago or a couple of months ago, and they're again like phenomenal band, right?
Oh, brilliant.
And it's just one of the things like sometimes that stuff is just something that will then impact you on how you play and how you write.
Totally. Yeah.
But so in regards to influences, so which bands would you sort of say has influenced you recently in the songwriting process?
Well, recently I think initially when we first started, a lot of our sound was kind of I want to say kind of my interpretation of punk songs and things like that. So obviously there was a big punk influence from other members in the band, but I never really listened to too much punk myself. At the time I was when I was learning guitar and stuff, I was drawn more towards like alternative metal and things like that.
Yeah.
And as I kind of progressed, I've listened to a bit more like Time Signature stuff, and mathy stuff, and I kind of progressed along those lines. And I think that kind of shows up in a lot of our newer stuff as well, where I'm kind of drawing on a bit more of those influences. So the new single that we have, Clockworks, that one's got like a riff that's in 17/16 for the breakdown part, and then it's kind of I think it's like five bars for the verse, which is kind of a little strange. Like it sounds like us, like it's still kind of, it has that kind of punky sound, and I think in terms of our band, the punk kind of stuff kind of more surfaces in our like mentality.
Yeah.
Like with DIY, we're very very energetic live. We draw from that kind of punk influence for that, not necessarily the sound, but the way that we perform and the way that we kind of go about our ethos with the band and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So influences wise, every band member has kind of a say, and they bring out their own things. And like myself, I listen to a bit more alternative. I grew up with nu metal, so there's some nu metal influences for people who listen to that, and they might pick up some stuff in there. I don't know, like Tony's a bit more punky, a bit more metalcore-y.
Yeah, all about. So my kind of big thing has always been, the kind of skate punky stuff. So No Effects and Strung Out and Lagwagon and all that kind of stuff. And then I guess through Strung Out being a little metal-y, and with Exile and Oblivion album just being kind of a little more metal, and then that pushed me into Kill Switch Engage and all the metalcore guys, and then some just silly metal. Sometimes we were sitting around at Cal's after we finished mixing, just listening to just bullshit heavy stuff, just because it was fun. And then all these things, they become influences, whether it's because you think it'd be a laugh to throw in a blast beat and some silly stuff, but it all finds its way in there.
But it's up to you. Like, you can do whatever you want. That's again the beauty of it.
Yeah.
And because again, like when I was listening to the track on the way here, I was like, so I thought I heard a little bit of like almost like a mix between some 36 Crazy Fist and Kill Switch Engage. He had sort of had those really aggressive vibes, sort of reminded me of those two bands. And then again, like it's got those same cleans as I thought of, you'd hear as well. But yeah, like really really cool production as well. But wait, was that? Did I hear you say DIY?
Yeah.
Yes, yeah. So it was done entirely in my study room.
So, nice, man.
There's no room in that room. There's no space at all.
Yeah, it's. I mean, we're not
That's
like
awesome, though. I love that.
Yeah, we're not really perfectionists with this kind of stuff. We just, we're not focused on capturing our energy live and recording that. Like, we know that it's an entirely different beast. We know we'll never sound like the new Kimura single. That sounds way too good. Like,
and it's recorded here. Just dropping that out.
It's amazing. It sounds fantastic. The video is amazing. It's like so professional. Like we don't strive for that. We're like everything we do is DIY. So like Tony prints all of our merch, and we'll go into that probably a bit later as well. But
and I just received this beautiful 9 Degree shirt. So again, sure there'll be. You can click on the link here and check this out later and see if you want to buy one as well. But
heck yeah.
But that's wicked, man. Yeah, but the whole DIY approach is like it's like with modern technology and with everything you have available in general. Like if you're saying you're printing stuff and all that, like it makes it so easy for you to do yourself. And especially like if it's something you're having fun with and you enjoy doing, like why not?
Yeah. It's nice to like experiencing that kind of personal touch where you do things yourself and you can kind of see yourself grow as you continue doing it. So I mean, even our singles that we've released and stuff, but you can go back and listen to it and hear how we've kind of progressed with our recording techniques and different things and different ideas that we're trying out, new things. So it's getting better. It obviously still sounds DIY, and we like to keep it that way. But we're getting good at what we do with the limitations that we have.
Yeah.
But you know what? It's one of those things, where like everything out there started like that. So it's just cool. Like as long as you keep going, as long as you do that, you're gonna improve. You're gonna get better. It's gonna sound better, and I love
cool. It means that we get
I'm
to
all for that,
collaborate as well. Like Kyle and I started the band like back in 2016 on the back of another band, Falling to Pieces. And we've always been mates that kind of connected over music and art.
Yeah.
We both get a kick out of drawing and design and then music. So it means that we get to, Kyle hand draws a lot of the stuff, and then you'll scan it all in, come my way, and then I'll arrange stuff, the design side of things, so that we can then put on t-shirts, use it as cover art and that kind of thing. And so it brings a whole other level of just mates doing their thing, and it's just cool.
That is,
that we just do our own thing, and it's nice that way.
That is,
as long as we've got a deadline.
Yeah. Well, the cool thing about deadlines is, as we spoke earlier, it's something, like it's like you just got to get stuff done. So,
Yes.
if you didn't have that deadline, a lot of people, especially musicians, I suppose, would just slack a lot more. You know what I mean?
Yeah, we're very familiar with that.
I've been guilty of that too. Like, so it's something. It can definitely help you in the matter of getting stuff done.
Very much so. Yeah.
Yeah.
And we did it. We got. It's not quite live on Spotify yet, but we got it just within the time frame.
It's submitted. It's ready for pre-save and stuff. So we'll probably have a link for that very soon.
So it's ready for Saturday.
Yeah,
Yes.
Friday at midnight. But
No changes now.
yeah, no waiting up for it now. Everybody needs to get early nights on Friday because you need to be ready for Saturday. We don't want anyone bitching and moaning that they're too tired to get up and wash and dance. So get an early night. You can download it in the morning.
Yeah.
Give it a few listens while you're putting your makeup on, Joel. And then get out and get your good gear on and have a good time with us. We'll get wild. It's a tiny little room, so yeah.
Oh yeah. Convenient. Yeah. It's a cool venue though. It's put together and they hadn't.
Yeah. So I guess we should say what we're actually talking about. So
yeah. Well, that might be a good segue, man, to drop that as well. Yeah.
Yeah. So so the single that we're talking about, Clockworks, that we've been working on for a little while. We played it quite a few times live, and it's changed up a little bit. We finally got it ready and finished, and recorded in Carl's bedroom, and we're gonna play it and launch it this weekend at Convenience in Northbridge. Maddie Hatton's awesome little venue. It's such a punk venue, and it's like 150 cap. And I was at an event with 45 people in there. I mean, they were sat down, but it was busy with 45. So if we can cap it or close to cap it, then it's going to be pretty intense. We've got some big bands playing with us as well. So all bands, deliberately bands that are capable of really getting people moving. That was what we wanted when we talked about who we want to do this launch with this time.
Yeah.
So people that we respect and people that are just capable of really making people either spin around in circles like fools or bang their heads or dance around or whatever. Just people that are down for a good time and really passionate people. So we've got Oceans and Omens. We're going to be opening up. Killer kind of Aussie metalcore, real heavy. If there's not a wall of death, then I don't know. Everyone's death. Then we got Infinite Exile, who your regulars will know. Just killer, crazy good band. Just so much chops. Just vocals, guitars, drums. It's insanity. So big noise. And then us. We call ourselves a punk band so that we can be sloppy, but and we will be. But we'll go big. I'll get out and I'll be out there. And if you're scared to dance, I'll dance first. And we'll get you down there and get you encouraged. And tequila helps as well, just for the record. That'll really help you get down. And then our boys, As Like Decay, is headlining, just thrash maniacs. And by that point, they'll have had a few bush chucks as well. So they'll be ready to throw down, so it should be a good night. Should be a real good night.
Well, I'm hoping I'll be able to make it down there now that my other plans have been cancelled. So that'd be awesome, man. No, it's absolutely killer lineup, man. Yeah. And yeah, like it's one of those things where Convenience. We went on the radio on Tuesday to have a chat to or Monday to have a chat to Tammy and Jason. And Tammy works at Convenience, and she said there's so many people that are just walking past and going in. So despite it being sort of fairly low cap venue, like they often have a lot more people through on the night because you simply just have walkthroughs.
Yeah, I was talking to Kyle, the sound guy, and he said the same. He's like, they've just got these people who just come. They just show up. It's not like any other music venue around town, really. You get that when you've got cover bands playing and stuff, through the week where people there's nowhere else to go and there's a live band, so they go see it. But there's not many venues around Perth that just gets a walking crowd for original music. So,
But I suppose also because first of all, like it's super central, but also as you walk past, you can hear that. Hey, hang on, there's some noise in there. You know what I mean?
Yeah. What's going on in this grocery store?
Like you wouldn't get that at Badlands. You know what I mean?
No.
Because it's so remote. It's
Yeah.
like down in the
Yeah.
asshole end of, end of town. You know what I mean?
It really is.
But there's literally nothing else there. Like if you go down there on a Saturday or Friday or whenever you're there, like if you're not there for music, like you won't be in that area. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And that's it. And you can drop in. You can have burgers first because they open at 4 as well on a Saturday. So you can get there
pre-drinks,
nice and early, pre-drinks, pre-burgers. Just don't throw it up on the ground because I'll have my shoes off and I don't want to stand in it. But so it's an awesome spot. Like Perth needed something like this. And I think it's helped to G everything else up a little bit.
Yep.
We've had massive love for the Boston. And we were gutted when that closed down, but now they've opened it up as Linnet's Lounge, and I was talking to the guy who's a lot of the money behind that, Paul, when we played there, and he's just another super passionate guy. He loves music. He's really proud of his music venue. So that's another one. In Northbridge, that's a music venue run by someone who's massively passionate about what he's doing. So.
Yeah, it's way better now as well. Yeah. Like they've got rid of that angled scene, and like the sound equipment huge. The sound equipment. Like it sounds massive, man.
That stage is the crispest stage we've played on. I reckon
it might be my favorite of the ones we've played recently.
Yeah, so good.
It always sounds great.
And when you look at how that stage used to be, we never had a problem with it. It always just seemed like, oh yeah, that's how it is. But now they've turned the stage around.
It makes so much
faces
more sense,
down the room. You're like, oh yeah, that's how a room should look. it's like I don't know. It's like putting your TV behind your sofa.
Like comparing it to when we first played there. You can just tell there's so much more room. Like, again, like as you said, it didn't bother us at the time, but now you can compare it to what it's like now.
I was about to like, surely it would have changed the acoustics heaps as well. And I haven't been there for that many for that many gigs, but I sort of like imagine how the audio sort of would bounce off sideways rather than you have that sort of long depth of the room.
Yeah. Awesome spot.
Yeah.
Awesome spot.
Yeah.
So just to be back playing in Northbridge, and it's cool. You can play so central and get these walking crowds and people. And when I was talking to Kyle from the venue, like he was saying that you get people walking in who do not listen to rock music at all, but because they've got this big social media, TikTok and Instagram thing going on because of the Doors. All these people are coming in because they want their TikTok video because that's like the coolest thing in the world.
Oh, really? I didn't know that. That's so cool, man.
So it means they're getting this whole different crowd that want to come in.
Yeah, that's so clever, man.
Yeah. Get their filters on and walk in and out through the doors, and there'll be us idiots jumping around, pissed up on tequila, hugging people I don't know
without shoes on.
Without shoes on. Yeah. It won't be the first time we've had people at our shows who didn't really know what they were coming to. But
that's so cool. I didn't know that was this thing, but that's so cool, man.
Yeah. Clever, real clever.
Yeah, but it is like again, I don't know if there's been other venues like that in Perth. We have those sort of fridge stores leading into it, but it's an awesome marketing gimmick.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So I know there's Lucky Chan's, my mate Adam's venue, but that's a restaurant and bar, but it's not a live music venue.
Yeah.
So there, you go through the kind of Chinese laundromat thing back into a restaurant. So that's real cool.
Yeah.
But it's not a live music venue, so it's a slightly different vibe.
Yeah.
But even the fact that then it's set up so well because then there's a shop out the front and they sell the merch in the shop.
It's like a proper convenience store, man.
Yeah. So cool.
Yeah.
So cool.
Go out and buy your crisps or your lollies or whatever. Yeah.
So you better print some more merch so we can get them on the shelves.
How do you get onto merch printing? Like having that passion for that?
I really wanted to give it a go. That when we first started doing it, we really wanted merch, kind of to cover our costs a little bit and just for the kick of seeing someone in your shirt.
It's wicked. It's always cool, man, to see someone else
wear
your stuff, man. They look great too.
And when you show up at a gig and people show up wearing them, it's just it makes you feel good, and it's not a bad thing as well if you show it to a venue and the people at the venue see the venue full of people in your shirts. That's not a bad thing either. But the key thing with us was, I was talking to mates that have been doing this for a long time, particularly like Josh from Kimura, Brendan from All This Filth, and we were talking about merch, and All This Filth, they go big on their merch. It costs them a fortune, man. So they've got to invest a hell of a lot up front. They've got to buy a hell of a lot of stock, and they've got to sit on all that stock. And we just didn't want to do it. If I'm honest, we put our time in, but we don't have heaps of money. So, but we figure we like art. I think we both cringe at calling ourselves artists, but we like art, and figure we can do this. So, I scoured YouTube. I had an idea of how to screen print in my head. I knew how it worked. So I went on YouTube, found a bunch of videos, and just kept disregarding them until I found the video that told me that you screen print the way I thought you screen print. And I was like, cool, okay, I can do that. And then just practiced, made the screens and made a whole lot that were useless, and, just figured out the best way to do it, figured out the inks that work best, and then designs that work better from there. So it was a matter of, we make designs that give us a little bit of leeway, so there's always a distressed look to our t-shirts and that kind of thing. So they're always a little unique. Yeah, but they don't look scrappy because they're kind of designed to look that way. So, yeah, and it's good. Like, I've just found myself really enjoying it. It's a cool thing.
That is super cool.
Do it as well.
Yeah. I actually taught Adrian from Terror Adapters.
Yeah,
so,
cool, man.
Everything happens to Adrian. He's the nicest guy in the world, and he's got so much passion for his band, and his family's amazing. But he just he struggles in the way that many other bands do. That finding members that work and that everyone can get there at the same time. There's always something going on for him. Yeah, and they were doing this launch, and I'm like, do you know what? Adrian's an awesome guy. Terror Adapters are awesome. They've finally got this thing together. They've worked so hard on it. So we were just like, all right, let's make them something. So we made them a screen so they can print their own, and so now they're doing their own, and they're getting way more experimental than us as well. They're doing like bleach prints and multicolored prints and stuff. So their merch level's going to be way above what we do.
That's so cool. But that again just also shows like that whole community spirit you have in Perth. How everybody just looks after each other and helps each other. Yeah. But yeah, you're right about Adrian. Like he's so devoted, man, to that project and to music in general, man. Yeah. I had a long chat to him as well a couple of months ago. He came on and
they've had some good attention on there.
Oh, the video is phenomenal, man. I can't believe he built that set. I can't believe he built that.
Yeah.
Like,
he's still got parts of it in his garage as well. Like
it just again shows you the level of commitment like you have to that project, man. So yeah, hats off to that again. That's something a lot of puts a lot of people to shame, hey.
Yeah. And he's another, like, his family are fully behind it and they support him, and it just kind of shows that if everyone gets behind it, you can do these awesome things. Like that's another. It's just so next level what they did. Yeah.
But you also touched on a very important point there about having everybody in the band being on the same page. Yeah, that's something that pretty much everyone struggles with, and something you've probably heard me talk I don't know how many times about in the past, because it is. For many bands, it's a be all and end all. You know what I mean? Like again, if ultimately you have someone who wants a lot more than what you're currently at, and somebody's happy with where you are, doesn't really bother about it to begin with. Yeah. Then you'll be wasting everybody's time. Yeah. You are.
Yeah. And that's it. You're always gonna have one or two people that really drive things. But yeah, if everyone's kind of drops off the same page and they start going different directions, it just gets too hard, and then it's such a slog trying to find band members, and it's just so demoralizing that it's something that a lot of bands have to go through. That luckily we haven't really done that, so we're all good. We're pretty much original. There's we had a different bass player when we started. Yep. Our mate Ross, but he was English as well. He went back to the UK. After we work out, it was 4 or 5 gigs.
He only played 2 gigs with us.
2 gigs. Oh
Right.
yeah.
And then,
Yeah.
my
And then he
brother-
had enough. He said, "Screw this,
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
out."
I'm gonna leave.
Yeah,
This
and,
is crap. I'm
Yeah,
leaving the
yeah.
country.
I'm gonna get as far away as possible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, my brother, he stepped in. He played 2 gigs with us while we were looking for a more permanent bassist, and yeah, taught him how to play our songs in our garage before the gigs. And yeah, he picked it up really quick, and then yeah, we got lucky. We found Nick, and
Yeah.
it's so he's been with us since I think our 5th gig onwards. So he
Right.
still came in pretty early. So this
So-
was back in 2017.
So what happened to your brother? He wasn't the right fit.
Oh no, he left to go to
Yeah,
America.
Oh,
he's
he left as
still
well.
there. Yeah. He might be watching us right now. So
Yeah, sweet.
yeah, he's great. He probably is one of the reasons why I am so into music. That he was the one that picked up guitar first. He's my younger brother, but he picked it up first. And I kind of followed him with it, and he's a big inspiration for me when I was kind of learning. So yeah,
That's so cool, man.
If he's watching, then yeah, I appreciate everything he's done. And, yeah, when he stepped in, it was fantastic. He learned lots of
It
good
was
stuff.
supposed to be 1 gig, and then we got offered another gig, didn't we? And
It was the night before, and
And the only way to get out of it, sort of, without burning any bridges, is like, I actually got to go to the States, man. So
yeah,
kind of got to find someone else, man.
Yeah.
Just give me a bit of notice, man.
yeah. Oh, well. But that was it. That was back when we were playing more weeknights than weekends, and yeah, Big Tomo chucking us on stuff on Wednesdays with Childlike Empress. That was back in the day.
I've heard a lot about them too.
Awesome boys.
That's a duo or something.
Yeah,
Yeah,
brothers. Real good melodic rock, punky, proggy, but really, really pop based. You know, really catchy, just awesome. I bang on about the melodies all the time. Like they're an awesome band, and sometimes like I get to get up and sing with them.
they
Sometimes
sound way
it's
bigger
just so
than
cool.
a 2-piece.
Yeah,
That's the same as Commander Panda as well,
Yeah.
man. They're
Yes. Yep.
awesome boys too, man.
Yeah. And that's it. Just to have the energy and the presence to pull that off, not just be from you've got to fill out the sound somehow,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
to fill the space as well. To just one person up front.
I was about to say, yeah, also like the confidence, man, of
Yeah.
having to be alone up front. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you don't have anyone else to bounce off on you as you walk around on stage. You know, like
Yeah.
because usually like you bounce off at least the bass player. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
and like you're like get into it. But now you're all by yourself, man.
Yeah.
So you're only really relying on like whatever feedback you get from
Yeah.
the crowd.
And that's it. It's completely different bass. Like with us, we've I spend a lot of time not on stage, just kind of being amongst people and getting up to mischief.
Yeah. When you
Um,
are on stage, you're butting heads with all of us.
Yeah, yeah. So we fight and we wrestle. Bearing in mind he's playing guitar.
So I've got a weapon in my hand.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've ended up in piles and ridiculousness a few times where one of us isn't quite as stood quite so stably as we think we are, and bashing around and end up on the ground. And we've been in some mistakes. But yeah, like if I'm not on stage, then the boys kind of step up and come to the center, and it's so I mean, there's always something to fill the stage. But if you're a 2-piece band,
Yep.
there's just one guy the whole time. You've got to be a big personality.
And you usually have to be stuck somewhere around the mic as well. So
Yeah.
like it's not like you can move that much
Yeah.
anyway, because if you're also the singer,
Yeah.
then
That's
yeah.
it. Yeah, and both Matt and Carl both do. They both, they're 2 bands that really just
Yeah.
they really nail this two-man band thing.
Yeah.
Love
Now I've been messing back and forth with is it Wes, the drummer, Wes Mantooth or something?
Yeah.
Or is that his? I think that's his stage
Lance.
name of yeah.
Yeah, Lance.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. But yeah, like we've been talking back and forth about them coming up for chat as well. So I should probably try and follow them up as well, man. But
Yeah,
because I've heard so many cool things.
Yeah,
about
they're
them.
awesome, and he's a big part of the whole presence as well. Is that he's a big character on drums. He hits hard. He's
the only
shirt
way.
off. He's big beard, tattoos, but just big personality, arms up in the air. Finish songs off on his feet, and just really brings it.
Yeah, wicked.
So yeah, they're good boys.
Yeah. fantastic. Love playing with them. You've been on stage with them a couple of times.
Yeah, always heaps of fun. It's nice to do something different. It's not my band, so
Yeah.
not that I behave, but yeah, I behave even less, I think, because it's not my band.
Have you got any other sort of local bands that you get along with well, or that you like to name drop, as you know, because they're really cool?
Most bands that we play with, we tend to befriend. We avoid,
That's a good start.
We avoid the drama at all costs, really. I guess people that I mentioned, we were playing kind of weeknight shows and stuff that Big Tomo was putting on back in the day. But yeah, bands that kind of really helped us out and got us onto, playing regular gigs and really gave us an audience. Kimura, always just massive support to us. Like, Josh is my brother. And Gordo had a big part in that, and sticking his neck out and telling Kelvin, our buddy Kelvin, who's a mate of yours as well, Kelvin Whitwell.
Yeah.
Just kind of saying, hey, get a look at Dying Degree. And, Brendan from All This Filth, he backed us as well to get us onto a couple of their shows. And so they've always been big supporters and show up as well. They get out in the scene and we see them at the gigs and stuff, and it's always nice to catch up with them, and Honey as well as a nutcase.
Yeah, All This Filth were kind of like, I guess you kind of think of them as like our older brother. Especially when we first started out, like I think they were a big drive for us.
They're such a good outfit as well, man.
Yeah,
like the last Misery season, man. That album is
so tight,
so good, man. Yeah.
And that's it. And it's funny because we attach ourselves to these real slick bands.
we sound nothing like that.
And we sound nothing like them. We're nowhere near as.
That's fun,
slick,
man.
and,
Like you totally don't have to.
Yeah. Have you been to a Kimura show and seen their?
No, I haven't. I haven't.
So they've got this insane merch box that Josh built that he just throws on the back of his ute, and it just opens up and it's got lights and it's got displays, and I'm like, mate, we draw signs on the back of wine boxes and write $10 per shirt on a wine box. And Josh is there with this ridiculous setup.
Brings in his old kiosk.
Yeah, and these are the people that we decide to hang out with. But then we've got some of our punk mates, and Sideways Gary.
Sideways Gary is fantastic.
They need to book some of their own gigs, but
yeah, they're probably another one of my favorite of the bands that we play with. They're a bit more punky, a bit more kind of post punk, post rock a little bit as well. A
lot of hardcore, a lot of
Comeback
Kid, but some
very
odd stuff going
very
on.
awesome. Like, I think listening to them got me into their genre a bit more as well. Like they're just next level. I don't know, they're awesome. They don't get enough praise.
No. Super passionate guys, but just super chill at the same time.
Yep.
So they love what they're doing, but they don't shout about it. They're just super chill. And Ziggy's rapping on a song now. A shout out to Ziggy for having the balls to do it. Their bass player, he's got weird style. He's just got this crazy tall man style, but he can move and he can rap as well. So they're throwing rap over hardcore songs now. And
who is this?
Sideways Gary.
Sideways Gary. I haven't heard of them, man.
Yeah. I'll check your contact. I'll get Simo to give you a shout.
Cool.
They're good. They're good guys. They're real good guys.
But that's so cool. Like, you still find new bands. You know what I mean? Like, you still find, whoa, why haven't I heard of these guys? And it's like this. Sometimes they just blow your mind. Like, I've really had that aha moment with when I heard Infinite Exile. Like, man, like, they were one of my personal biggest discoveries, man.
Yeah.
This blew me away. Like, I saw them at the show, and then I listened to the EP on the way home. I was like, what is this, man? Like,
like, local
bullshit,
band?
Man. It's
really?
so
Local
good.
Band? Yeah.
So good. And the production value of that EP as well is off the charts, man.
And that's the thing. Like, it had to be, but and when I heard that they'd self-produce it, I was like, holy shit.
That's
like,
what I mean.
There's a
That's
lot.
What I mean.
And I didn't hear it for a little bit, and then I threw it on. And I was like, holy shit, they pulled this off. Like, it's massive.
Big time. Yeah, big time. Like, the production of that is so international, so high level, man.
Yeah. But again, they've all got so much chops. Just Shannon's one of my favorite local vocalists. Like he blows it out the water. He's huge. He's a massive personality as well. I mean, he's a tall guy, but he's a massive personality on stage and like a proper frontman. I don't know. I love a good frontman.
Same.
So important, to be able to have your own thing, not just to be, everybody wants to be Corey Taylor. That's cool, but you don't want anybody that's going to stand up there and copy him and try and be him. You want people who have their own thing and their own presence and their own voice. And so but we're lucky. We've got some real good ones. Some real good ones.
And again, like super nice guy too, man. I had him and Josh, I think it is the bass player.
I watched the episode.
I had them now for chat. Like super nice guy, man.
Yeah.
And he's got like 1 million kids, man. It's like I couldn't believe that either, man. Like, how do you have time to also play music, man? But like super nice guys, man. We had a lot of really cool stuff, like really cool conversation. We had there as well, man. But really, like when I first discovered them, I was like, what is this, man? That is madness, man. So good. I can't wait to hear some more stuff from them, man.
And then but get your head around As Like Decays as well, like from a little more kind of classic thrash kind of vibe to it, but it's got good groove. And
I've listened to they've got a couple of singles out. I've listened to them, and it sounds great.
And they bring it live. Jamie's another one. Like he's got a real unique style. He should be bigger than he is. He just should be, because he's not the tallest guy and he's skinny like a rake, but he's got big presence. And he throws his arms around, and he's one of these guys that just really commands with his body language and his face. How Phil Anselmo's got that thing. He sticks his lip out and he means business. But Jamie's just got this glare to him, and you're like, what's going on with him? He's gonna kick the shit out.
A little dog with rabies or something.
Yeah. So and they just bring it, and again they're a band full of oddballs, just different characters. Like Goods is a maniac, their bass player, and Bo comes across as pretty quiet, but he's a maniac. And they're just awesome. Yeah. I don't know who else. We could talk about local bands for ages because we mentioned one band
and we should because there is so much to be said about the local scene, and that's again, it's the really cool thing about it too. Like there's so much activity because we don't have any international bands coming at the moment.
Exactly.
True.
So it's literally you want to go catch live music. Well, here's either a cover band or a really cool local band.
Yeah, and that's it. Bayview are back soon. Shit. Bayview Suspect.
Oh, Bayview Suspect. See, that's again another band. I've never actually seen them live, but they are so good. I've listened to their stuff on
and they do it as well. Like Infinite Exile, where you hear it and you think, oh shit, how do they do this live? Like these boys do it, and it's super techy.
Super tight, man.
And just and big. And Johnny's a different kind of frontman. Again, he's not a frontman that's here, there, and everywhere. He has his box. But he's just all show. He's up and down, up and down, up and down with just this absolute filth of a voice. And then the song's finished and he's just all grins and smiles and happy days. And he's just like, what? But yeah, awesome boys. And again, just another band just filled with chops. And now Jesse's playing bass for them as well now, who plays bass in every metal band in Perth, pretty much.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So he plays with Chris as well in Viscerous, who are another killer local metal band. They just released a single that's just mental and just massiveness, just huge noise, but just awesome chops. But yeah, Jesse's in that band as well, and then he's in Doom Cave.
You got to drop me some links to these bands after. Yeah, I'd love to check them out.
Yeah, and he's in Wrath as well, and then Herb's in all these bands as well. It gets super inbred. Like,
how do you find time to be in so many bands, man?
I don't know.
That's intense.
There was a time that Gordo was in Kimura and all this filth for a while when we first kicked off, right? That was interesting. Just Gordo doing double sets and
But
And-
especially if you are in bands that are active, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like if you're a band that are actually producing material and playing and stuff like that,
Yeah.
would be so
Yeah.
time consuming.
And
Like,
playing both bands on the same bill. Like,
well,
you
that's
mad?
that's great from a logistics perspective, but
Yeah, it's not so good on the bike. I couldn't do it. I'm dead when we finish.
oh yes, like you burn so much energy, man,
Yeah.
when you're on stage, man.
Yeah, running around and dancing and
The adrenaline, being in front of a
screaming and-
crowd,
yeah,
the lights
and
are on. and-
that's it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
lights. And when you get to a venue and you get on the stage to do sound check and you're like, are you kidding me? They've got old school lamps up here, and you're just like, I'm going to be like a rotisserie chicken up here. It's shocking. Like, for God's sake, please get LEDs. If you run a venue, please get LEDs.
Yeah, good point. Good point.
Shocking. They'll put a big orange light on you, and you're like, yeah. Just gets.
That's a good
get
point.
tan.
I actually never thought about that because I think like the last time I played sort of bigger stages, that was 15 years ago. And that was all the old school lights, man. Yeah, I was like absolutely roasted, man.
Yeah. And there's always
That's
one just
crazy.
right in your face, and you're just like, oh man, this is gonna. And then I think about it the whole time then before I'm going on, and then I spend no time in front of it. But I think about these lights as though they're like my worst enemy. But I think that my worst enemy is tequila.
But so how does that work as a musician? When you go on stage, like is there a balance to how much you can consume pre-show, and still be able to
we
to,
should
to,
find
to,
out on Saturday
to perform?
Please don't.
I usually go all right. I mean, I don't have
Usually,
yeah, I don't have to be drunk to play. We play the all ages stuff, and I play that sober, and
Yeah.
get just as silly, if not more, actually. Like I'm a bit even cheekier probably at the all ages gigs.
All ages,
Yeah.
they go off.
They really go off. And if they and the people that aren't, they'll be sat in a little circle up the back, and I go and sit with them with my microphone while I'm singing and stuff. And so I get up to no good when I'm sober as well. But there's only been one time that you told me off.
You're usually well behaved.
Yeah, cheeky.
There was one time I had to leave you there, and you found your own way home with a bunch of other people.
Yeah.
I'm normally the
did you get dumped?
designated driver.
Well, yeah, Carl does tend to look after me. But yeah, there was this one time just one gig. Yeah, when I was a bit too drunk. I went a bit too far.
That was the Swan Basement.
The Swan Basement. No, I think we played well enough.
It was great.
From what I
That was-
remember,
I shut my mouth off a bit too much about people standing at the back. I was just like, we were giving it a lot of effort, and there's people standing at the back, and I just shut my mouth off a bit too much. But it was once. That's once out of nearly 50 gigs.
I don't mind that. I don't
Yeah.
mind when a frontman has the confidence to
Yeah.
tell people to come to the front, or at least move away from the
Yeah.
back. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I've got a decent
That's
radio
cool.
mic now, so I just go to them now. If they want to stand up the back, that's all good. I'll dance around in front of you. It's all good. It usually
You're
breaks
always-
the tension a little bit.
Yeah, you're always jovial. So
I'm not aggressive.
it doesn't come across as
No.
confrontational or anything.
I'm not that kind of person.
That's cool, man.
Yeah,
No, we're all nice guys in this band.
that's it. We get along.
Yeah.
We get along. I'm a different character. Everybody else is. We go to band practice. We spend more time talking about Star Wars or Pokemon, and I just stand in the
Very
corner.
metal, man.
Yeah, I stand in the corner pretending I know what's going on, and there's the three of them just banging on about Star Wars and Pokemon. And Nick's there on Pokemon Go, just battling gyms between songs.
Is that still a thing?
It is.
Apparently.
Nick.
Is that still a thing?
It is for Nick. And he'll show us what
I
he's
thought
got.
that was
and
like
then,
this sort of just overnight thing, but no, I didn't know he's still around, man.
Yeah, it's still
Wow.
around. It's a big thing, and then Jurassic Park's quite a thing in the band as well. Kyle's encyclopedic when it comes to Star Wars.
Well, I've got 3 little boys, so I know all there is to know about dinosaurs too, man. That is, yeah.
Heck yeah.
Talk about that for ages, man.
I'm sitting opposite the right guy.
Love dinosaurs. Yeah. Always have.
Or dinosaurs of it. Yeah.
Dinosaurs. Yeah. until recently, Star Wars. The new ones kind of been pushed away from Star Wars now with all the new movies. But yeah, always a huge Star Wars fan. And then Jurassic Park. Yeah, my dad. When I was like 2 years old, he bought me a big, massive dinosaur encyclopedia. So going through like first words being like long dinosaur names, good fun.
Yeah, man, and like not that we should continue talking about dinosaurs, but it just baffles me how they're still finding new species, man.
Yeah, it's
just
awesome. I think I'm subscribed to like a couple channels that like 7 Days of Science. Like go and highlight all the new finds and stuff. And, yeah, it's fascinating. We should be a dinosaur
paleontologist,
a dinosaur concept band. I reckon we should turn into that for our next release.
There is a I can't remember what they're called, but there is this. I think they're Finnish or something. But there is someone that's playing dino metal or dino
really?
dino rock. Yeah, yeah.
I'll have to look that up.
And they're like in full bodysuits and stuff.
Yeah.
There you go. It's taken, so we can't. Do
I
it.
can.
Sorry.
I'll try and find the link for you for later
Please
and
do,
try
yeah.
and drop it off, man. And it's good stuff, man. It's one of those bands you just have to see them to see them.
Yeah.
Like they're all wearing these big dinosaur costumes and just playing metal or playing rock, man. But it's like
Our drummer Matt, he's into all those weirdo like concert bands. He's linked to so many like Viking metal bands that like they dress up as Vikings. They perform like operatic Viking like metal, and then they like dwarf metal like based on like Tolkien and stuff. Like so much like
that's
weird.
thing.
is there a dwarf metal band?
Yes, yeah. I'm
Yeah.
trying to remember what their name is, but so many like just unique bands that he follows so much like weird stuff, and I think
Yeah. Well, we were talking about doing a cover. We've never done covers. We've never done one. And we were talking about it, just being like, maybe, we might never play it live, but maybe there'll be that one time where we're just like, do you know what, things are going off, let's just throw a cover in. Or maybe things aren't going off, let's throw a cover in. We couldn't do it because Matt kept coming back with this. He's like, how about we cover this Polish ska poker metal band? Why on earth are we going to... What?
Why wouldn't you take like a song that's completely different genre to you? It's like a Katy Perry song or something, and then just completely, shred it up.
Yeah,
that would be fun.
yeah. And that's kind of where we
that's what Commander Panda are playing Scrubs.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They've got that punk version of Scrubs. Yeah.
They nail it.
But it's one of those things like like people know the song, but they might hate the original because it's on commercial radio. So like picking a Sheeran song or something, Beyonce or something.
And Childlike Empress and My Shadow and I, shout out to them as well. They're another slick as hell band, punk band, awesome. They both play the Friends song.
Friends thing.
It's like the Rembrandts, but I can't remember what the song's called. They both.
I'll be there for you.
Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah,
that's the one. And people, because people know it. Like it's an awesomely chosen song because they know it just whether it's subconsciously or not because it's just on TV all the time. So that always goes off when they do that. And they sometimes do Childlike Empress. Sometimes do the Game of Thrones thing.
Oh, wicked!
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Oh, it's such a good theme, man.
Yeah.
It's like sometimes you just have those themes. The same as Star Wars, actually. But you know what I mean? Like you just have those things where you just instantly you get all the visuals, man. You know what I mean? Like it takes you back, and you see all the that whole world of that adventure stuff, man.
Yeah,
and it's done so well on that one, man.
Yeah. No, man, there's some cool stuff going on. There really is, and it's just and everyone's launching stuff as well. Like I don't know what. Yeah, you can understand why the Eastern States bans because they're not going out, but in WA, it's just we locked down for a little while, and then everyone's just come out.
We haven't really been locked down. Let's be honest.
No. There's like what 6 or 8 weeks where they're like, please don't go outside, please don't. And everyone's like, we're locked out. No, they're asking us nicely not to go outside. We're deciding not to go outside. And Matt McGowan's gonna be like, it was me. No, it's not. It was the desert. Let's say it was Matt. Sorry, but I didn't want to talk about politics.
Now it's about to, now we're gonna open the COVID book, man. comes out now.
Oh, dear.
But yeah,
but-
all
but-
WA bands are just getting busy.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, they are.
we've got new venues that are kicking,
Yep.
and they're taking bands in and really supporting live music, and people are getting out like they never have before. You know, probably because they're still in the state, but they're that's spending it on going to Bali, so they're spending it on going out and seeing bands. It's awesome.
But this is something that I like. Sometimes I think about this. Like, what will happen when hopefully one day the world, goes back to being a little bit more how it was. You know what I mean? Like, will we just get absolutely flooded with bands from overseas, and will bands from here just absolutely fly over to Europe and the States, and like, because the thing is, like, right now, first of all, we can't leave, and no one can come here. So
Yeah.
right now, you can't really do anything but play locally, or play in the state at least. But I mean, what will happen one day when everything is, hopefully back to normal?
I don't know. I mean, my brother's in the UK, and obviously they've just said, what will be, and they've just opened the doors pretty much. And the bands there were crazy. Like, there was a festival last week in Leeds that was just the most insane lineup, the Slam Dunk Festival. Everything.
Yeah, I'm not surprised, man.
No Effects,
I'm not
Alkaline
surprised.
Trio, and a whole bunch of stuff, and While She Sleeps, and heaps and heaps of bands on there. Giant festival. And then on the back of that, like, I think he's got tickets for Rammstein and like all the bands coming through. And you're like, this is nuts.
Because that's exactly what I thought would happen. Because you'd have this influx of all these bands that have been imprisoned for the last 12 to 18 months, pretty much, and now it's just like, let's get out now, everybody.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
there would just be a mayhem if you're in Europe, man.
yeah, and that's it. I mean, we do have some big bands here in Perth, but that's been cool as well because it's meant that like some of our kind of our bigger local acts that they'd come around and they'd play a few shows a year in Perth. People, I guess, like Tempest Rising and Chaos Divine and stuff, that they're bands that usually they tour, whether it's just around Australia or they get off, and Tempest always did. They go off in Europe and Asia and all over the place. But they've been playing a lot more in Perth, and it's nice because it means that other local bands get to play with these guys. They're kind of leading the way a little more. And, and that's been an awesome thing. It's been something nice. But
I think even Carnival did a bunch of gigs, like with the very short, like only I think 3 or 4 months in between. They played Milkband and they played that double gig in Fremantle.
Yeah. I thought Jebediah were just going to keep playing every week for a while. I thought they were just going to be just 1 week, and then they'd take a week off, and then they play another venue. I thought that was going to happen for a bit, but all these big bands are just dying to get out there and tour, but they just can't go anywhere.
Actually, speaking about playing a lot and convenience, like Ragdoll has got a residency on Tuesday nights. They're playing every Tuesday nights at Convenience.
How good is that?
How cool is that? Yeah.
And I think the band from Hell still playing there as well.
Not sure.
Yeah, so they're kind of covers and stuff, but they're good. And there's a couple of our mates in there. Tomo's always been a good supporter of us. He's a good promoter as well around town, so he's always been a good guy. And our mate Tane playing guitar in that band. A good party band. It's good stuff, but it's nice as well. Like that's the other thing, like cover bands popping up,
or tribute bands.
Tribute bands. Yeah, Limp Bizkit tribute band.
Oh, there's pretty much a tribute band of everything you can think of, man. I was like a couple of months ago, I was sitting at home. I was like, if I were to make a tribute band, it should be of. And then I started going through all the bands in the '90s that I grew up on. It's like, taken. There's literally one of everyone, man. Yeah, and you can see why, because again, like, people want to hear all the big bands that aren't allowed to come here, and that's why
and that's it. And you can play a show and people are going to go off, and everybody wants to play a show where people go off.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
What's your take on that, by the way? Like the covers tributes versus originals?
Like I said, people just want to play shows where people go off, and if you can do it and people get crazy and you can have a good time, and then that's your release, and you can have your release that way. Awesome. for me, I wouldn't be able to just do that. I don't think I'd have to have our own thing. The writing means a lot to me, even though I'm really slow at it. Being able to write my own lyrics and then perform my own lyrics, and I think that helps me with my own energy, and and helps me get big and passionate and over the top when I'm playing live. But I'm not sure I could do the same thing if I was doing covers in a tribute thing.
But I think also like a lot of the tribute bands do have singers that are, or not just singers, but have band members from other bands as well. Like you got Dan from Amber Dance in the Pearl Jam cover, Freddie from Storm and Skies, and the System of Down cover, and so on and so forth. So so it's one of those things where it does give you that extra outlet, where you still have something that can go out and you can probably also play to a bigger crowd than you can with the original band, because you hit a big audience. And you can team up with other tribute bands. So literally, like you can go and you can have like a '90s grunge revival and stuff like that. And that's awesome, man. It's like I personally, I have absolutely no problems with it whatsoever. But I also get what you're saying. Like you need that creative outlet, which is for most people is your songwriting.
It's like another side of like playing live that you probably wouldn't get playing originals. Like that experience, you can go out, you have an experience with your tribute band and your cover band, and experience that taste of what you're striving to achieve with your original band. And it's like it's like another outlet for you to kind of just experience playing music. I think it's a good thing.
Yeah. Or maybe it can give you a little bit of like appetite. So look, I want to do this with my original band. You know what I mean? Like,
definitely serve as like
I want to try and push the bar a bit higher.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Sure. No, we've got one of my mates plays in a cover, one of the tribute bands around town. I don't know if they're still doing it now, but they did a few pretty big ones. And he said, "Mate, it's really good. The pay was really good, but there was about 6 people at the end who were stood there. They'd been with their arms crossed, and they came over and they wanted to tell me every single thing that I did wrong that wasn't like the person in the band." And he's like,
"Really?
Mate, get out of my face." And I could not do that. Could not do that. I'm not that much of a perfect. None of us are. We're not the tightest live band. We're an experienced band, and we're not. If someone messes up in our band, we laugh. Like they get laughed at. And I couldn't do with being in a tribute band and people just be like, "Oh, that's not what that person would do." That'd drive me nuts. Yeah,
but actually, it's I suppose it's a good point, because if you do have a tribute band, like you obviously want to pay a tribute as close to the original, like to sound as good as you can. So if you, depending on how, like if it's just a little bit where you like if you have a little sloppy part or whatever it is, but like most of the tribute bands that I've heard that are around, they sound phenomenal, man. Like really good, man. I went to I think this was this last year or something. It's a while ago. I went in to see Hyper Theories, doing I don't know if you've seen them. That like even how that the singer sings. Well, actually both of them.
It's the boys from Roses for Ghosts, right?
Yes, yeah. But yeah, like the cleans, like the Chester of that band is like, if I closed my eyes, I would think that was him, man. He is so close to Chester. And obviously the whole production value they put on the backtracking and stuff, like wow, man. Like they are, and that's not an easy band to cover if you want to sound like the original, because of all the backtracking and all the stems you got to load in and load up, and
and that's it. And then Maddie Hatton and his gang.
Another
Super Beast.
perfect example.
I've not seen it yet, but I'm dying to see it. They're doing another.
But that's also again like for the production value, how they've actually done a shitload of costumes and the makeup and everything, and like stuff like that. Again, like hats off, man, because that again means you're taking it seriously, man.
And it's big.
But that stuff also pays off, because people start talking about it. Go, whoa, have you seen them like this? Did you see what they put on, man? Like the makeup and like he even looks like like Rob Zombie.
Every time I talk to him, I told him, I was like, mate, I can't not see you.
I know. It's like, whoa, like now you are Rob Zombie. Like it's like you just become that
once you've seen it, you just can't
unsee it. Nah, that's right. That's so funny, man.
But no, I got asked if I'd be interested, and I kind of left it open. And as it turned out, there's another band doing a cover of this particular band around town from time to time.
Yep.
And it was something that I considered it because the other musicians were awesome musicians that asked me, and I was like, okay, maybe. But I didn't jump on it quick enough, and then it turned out there was another band. So I don't know. It'd be I don't know, maybe once.
So if you were to, and again, like you don't have to answer, but if there was a band that you would want to do a tribute band of, who would it be?
I would like to do Refused because I'd be a cocky shit and think I could.
See that. Yeah.
Who? Refused.
Refused. Right.
Yeah. I
just
wouldn't
big
know
influence on me.
I wouldn't know how to answer. I'd probably agree. I like Refused is awesome, but their riffs are just fun to play as well.
Yeah.
I'd back that.
It's all a bit odd and different and heaps of energy.
I haven't heard them enough to actually know exactly what it be.
I think who would Matt choose? I don't even know where to start.
It has some really strange view on what we his view on how things should be it changes the way that the band is. It always has, like it changes song vibes just so wildly. We're just like, but that's it. It's what he does, and we're just like, cool. Everyone does their thing, and if you want input, then bring it to the band and ask for input. But otherwise, just if you think you've got the vibe of the song, just go out and do it. And Matt just comes back and we're like, that is not how we thought this song was going to go. So I write nothing now until we've been jamming songs for a good, a good 6 or 8 weeks. I do not touch songs for vocals because I got to a point where, Kyle and me sharing demos and I'm like, all right, cool. I know where the melody's going to go. And then Matt comes in and just completely changes it up, and we're like, okay, cool.
That'll be annoying.
So I'm like, not going to do that. We're just going to let Matt do his thing, let Nick do his thing, and then I'll write the melodies. Otherwise, it's just wasting time.
That was apparently how James Keenan from Tool, how he started other projects, was because the guys writing the songs just kept changing them. So every time it's like, nah, I'm just gonna go do some other stuff. Right? Let me know when you've got something, right?
Yeah.
13 years later, here you go.
There you go. We got there. Yeah. But it's a good way to be. It's the way that just writing for us is.
But that's again like it's something that I find fascinating. Talking to people about how they write and like the whole process of creating songs as well, because it's so different, man. Like everybody has different ways of doing it. Like sometimes you have someone who's like just really good at just writing riffs and writing songs, and he just really comes with like a 95% finished product. Boom, here you go. Oh yeah, all right, I'll have that.
Yeah,
Yeah. And other times like it's something you come in, you just start jamming everybody, and something just happens out of the blue, and everything works because it's original music, and as long as you have that sort of mishmash and the chemistry between you, and you can find a musical expression that suits, that's all that matters.
I think that's the thing. It's the chemistry. If you've got the chemistry, you find the way that works.
That's so rare, man.
Chemistry lets it happen without ego and anything else. It's ego kills bands.
Right? That's the biggest band killer, no doubt. No doubt.
And I think it's for a band to do well and have longevity, you've got to have confidence. But you can't have, ego. Everyone has to be. Everyone has to agree.
Everybody has to compromise.
Everyone has to compromise.
Absolutely.
And be willing to compromise.
Yep.
Yeah. So for us, it is kind of that way in that, Kyle writes most things.
Yeah. So
the skeleton.
Start with a quick recorded demo. I'll just kind of jam, mic by myself.
In the bedroom.
Yeah. In the bedroom. record double track guitars.
Yeah.
Have a programmed drums.
Yep.
Just an idea. And then nothing too fancy because I know Matt will change it. Then I bring it to the band, send it off Dropbox or email, let them know, and they listen to it. And we'll probably that happens. We'll have quite a few demos, and then we'll choose one that stands out, and we'll work on that. Matt will listen to my drums. If he likes it, he'll keep it pretty straightforward. I think a lot of our recent ones he's kind of picked up and he's kind of just made minor tweaks to the drums. So I think as we've kind of played together, we kind of get to know what we like. So it's changed how I write drums myself, and I don't play drums. I'm a guitarist, and I hate that sound of you can kind of hear a band when they have drums, and you can tell when the guitarist has written the drums because they're just
really?
they're very I don't know. It happens a lot with like the kind of music that I listen to, where it's like kind of like that progressive side of things, where it's so locked in with the guitars, and I don't like that
gotcha.
sound.
Yeah,
like,
okay, gotcha. Yeah.
Like, there's a few bands out there that kind of like 1-to-1, like the snare on the third beat, kicks are in line with every pick attack of the guitars. It's like Matt has a completely different take on it. He does his own thing. He brings a lot of other outside influences, so he probably has as much influence on the sound of our band as, even though I write the riffs and all of that, but the way that everything kind of meshes together, and Nick, he I don't even bother with bass. Nick handles all of the bass, so it's just literally our first demos are always just 2 tracks of guitar and a scratch drum track, and then we take it from there, and everyone brings their input. And
Yeah.
As Tony said, he'll give us some time to kind of work out the kinks and work out what the kind of feel for different parts, because that'll change. And then once we kind of have an idea, then he'll jump in and add his ideas. And
So how much of this do you create remotely? As in, like, do you just spin files back and forth on Dropbox and then eventually go and rehearse them, or do you have an idea and then you go and rehearse and jam around that?
It's overall pretty quick. Like, we just like I'll hold the idea until I've got a solid kind of demo track, and I'll send that to the guys, and then if we want to work on it, then our next jam, we'll just kind of jam it and learn the parts. As we jam it, we'll change things, and it's like, it's pretty quick. Like, once we kind of work on it, it's just the time-consuming parts, just kind of making sure we reach that point where all of us are kind of happy with all of our individual parts.
Yeah.
And that's a cool part about me stepping back, is that I can literally just sit in the center of the room. So, when the boys are jamming their parts, and I can hear when things just tighten up. When a verse just suddenly just works, and I can just make a mental note and be like, verse 2. We were there.
Nice.
And it's cool because it's a new song, so everyone's just really zoned in on what they're doing. It's nice to be able to sit there and just listen, and then just highlight things. Then we can go back and everyone thinks about it, and and then that's where if there's any adjustments to arrangements or whatever, that's when we'll start to just you can just feel it then once you play it a few times. And then writing wise for me is headphones, wine, and
tequila.
And a notepad, and I write that way. I don't like to write on a keyboard. I like to write to handwrite, so there's a lot of scribbles and a lot of stuff out of
I've
order.
heard that from other singers too. They say they prefer the old school way. It's actual scribbling, cross something.
It's nice to
throw
push
the
a
pages
pen
away.
on, and when you're writing stuff, I think you get that thing where you get to the end of a line, you think, I just wrote that line. That's really cool. You get that a lot more, I think, when you're pushing a pen around than when you type in. For me, at least. Anyway.
I think there's also some scientific evidence that apparently you connect more with stuff when it's written rather than when it's typed. Or something like that. I don't know how much truth there is to that, but it sounds like from the creative process that you hear that a lot.
Yeah, I can
like for instance, like when I recorded vocals with Dan for the song I released, it was the same. Like, he came down and just rewrote a couple of lines and just did everything like on a piece of paper. And I was like me on the other hand, when I write stuff, like I just write it on the computer because it's easy, you know what I mean? But again, I'm not a singer either, so maybe that's why. You know what I mean? Because I've spoken to a lot of other singers that are doing it the same way. They literally has a notepad and just love the fact you have you write it down. You can sit and scribble it out.
I think it's just about, again, you just embrace what works for you.
And absolutely, 100%.
Throw yourself at it.
100%.
My partner's she's a writer, so she does write. It's what she does, but she writes on the laptop all the time. Like never hand writes anything, and that's that's what she does. But so I think it's just you figure it out and figure out what works for you, and you just do it. And like I said, I like to do it with dim lights and wine and get romantic with myself with my clothes on.
Oh, that's nice.
We're not so romantic and stuff like that. But yeah, just sit aside and do it.
I think also when you're on your laptop, and this is me personally anyway, I get too distracted, man, because shit pops up
Yeah.
and like I've got
absolutely.
notification. Oh, I'm just gonna have a look at that. What's that like? And you don't get that on a notepad. You can literally put your phone in another room and like boom, you just write on there. But you're on your laptop, man. Stuff just keeps.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
It's a shame you can't mix a song on something else other than your computer, so you got all these other distractions in the background.
yeah, and
So,
it's hard to shut it all down, isn't
Yeah,
it? Like
it
to
is.
completely unplug, man.
Yeah. That's why I like to use headphones as well.
Mm.
When I write, just so it makes you feel like you're closed off and just.
Also,
focus on one
so
thing.
do you put them on and just not have any music in them? So it feels like
No, headphones on and music in the headphones.
Oh,
rather
okay,
than-
gotcha. Yeah, so
rather
you got
than
the
having
music
it on
nice and
monitors
so
or
you got
whatever. I
yeah, so
prefer
you got
to-
the music nice and close and can hear all the details. And stuff. Yeah.
Want to get yourself in that zone.
Yeah, because it takes me ages to write. It takes me ages, and then I rewrite, and then before I'll play songs live, and switch things up a little bit and that kind of thing, and then when we come to actually recording, then I'll do a complete rewrite, and go back through things that have worked, haven't worked, and figure out actually what the song's about quite often as well. Like I write a lot of stuff and then go back over it and I'm like, holy shit, like I like what I've written, but I'm not quite sure where it was coming from. And then the more I sing it, the more I realize what I've written.
Do you try and find like a story or a special emotion or something to try and express through the music?
We've got like recurring themes of a lot of mental health stuff. That's been something that's that's really worked really well, and just coping with